The first thing I noticed wasn't my little blue house, waiting quietly at the end of Maple Street in Charleston, South Carolina. It wasn't the familiar porch swing I had built with my father years ago, or the American flag still fluttering gently in the summer breeze. It was someone running toward me, as if 6 months of silence had finally become too much to bear. Barefoot with tears already streaming down her face, Rachel crossed the lawn without caring about the gravel beneath her feet. Before I could even set my duffel bag down, she threw her arms around me so tightly that I almost forgot how exhausted I was. After half a year working aboard a cargo vessel crossing the Atlantic, in that single embrace, I knew something had happened while I was gone. Before we continue, if you believe kindness, hope, forgiveness, compassion and second chances can change lives, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs encouragement. Leave a kind comment and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps these heartfelt stories reach people who may need them. Today, for 6 months, the ocean had become my entire world. Endless waves, steel decks, long shifts, and quiet nights under unfamiliar stars had taught me patience. But they had also taught me loneliness. Every few weeks, I managed a brief phone call home. Yet the connection was often poor. I never wanted anyone worrying about me, especially my elderly mother, Grace, who insisted she was perfectly capable of living alone. While I worked overseas, Rachel had lived next door for nearly 4 years. She taught music at the local elementary school and always greeted everyone with the same warm smile. We had shared friendly conversations over backyard fences, helped each other shovel snow during rare winter storms, and exchanged homemade meals during holidays. She was simply the neighbor everyone wished they had. As Rachel finally stepped back from our unexpected hug, her eyes remained filled with relief instead of embarrassment. She looked thinner than I remembered, and although she smiled, I could see months of worry written across her face. Without saying much at first, she helped carry my bags toward my front porch. The surprise waiting inside nearly brought me to tears. The house was spotless. Fresh flowers sat on the kitchen table. The refrigerator was stocked. Family photographs had been carefully dusted, and my mother's favorite rocking chair stood exactly where she loved it. Only then did I learn what had happened. 2 months after my ship had left port, my mother had suffered a minor stroke. Thankfully, it wasn't severe, but she needed several weeks of therapy and assistance because I was somewhere in the middle of the Atlantic. With almost no reliable communication, Rachel made a decision that quietly changed all of our lives. Without asking for recognition, she drove my mother to every doctor's appointment. She prepared meals, she watered both our gardens, she sorted my mail, paid the utility bills, using the emergency envelope my mother showed her, and even repaired a broken porch light after a heavy storm. She never posted about it online. She never told the neighborhood. She simply noticed someone needed help, and became the family we didn't realize we already had. When my mother returned home stronger, she insisted on helping Rachel in return. The two women became inseparable. They baked together every Saturday morning, laughed over old family recipes, and planted colorful flowers all along the sidewalk. Separating our yards, neighbors who barely knew each other before suddenly began stopping to chat, offering help and sharing meals. One act of compassion had quietly transformed an entire street. Listening to everything I had missed left me overwhelmed. While I had been sailing thousands of miles away, believing I was providing for my family the only way I knew, how someone else had been protecting the people I loved. Without expecting anything in return, the following weeks became a season of gratitude instead of guilt. I spent time repairing Rachel's aging fence, replacing the roof on her garden shed, and helping organize a neighborhood block picnic, where everyone brought homemade food. For the first time in years, Maple Street felt less like a collection of houses, and more like a real community. One evening, my mother admitted something she had never told me before. During the first days after her stroke, she had been frightened that she might become a burden. Rachel had simply held her hand, prayed with her, and reminded her that accepting kindness was not weakness. Sometimes allowing others to help was also a gift, because it gave them the opportunity to live out their own compassion. Those words stayed with me months later before I accepted another contract at sea. I made a different decision. I found work at the Charleston harbor that allowed me to sleep in my own home every night. The paycheck was smaller, but my life suddenly felt much richer. I no longer measured success by the miles I traveled, but by the evenings I spent with my mother, the neighbors I knew by name, and the friendships that had become family. If this story has touched your heart in any way, please support the video with a like, share it with someone who still believes in the goodness of people, and subscribe for more stories that remind us hope is never far away. Before this story ends, I'd love to hear from you. Please leave a comment, telling us about someone whose unexpected kindness changed your life. Your story may become the encouragement another viewer desperately needs today. Even now, whenever I pull into my driveway after work, I sometimes remember that unforgettable afternoon when Rachel came running barefoot across the grass. Most people would say she welcomed a neighbor home. I see it differently. I came back believing I had spent 6 months crossing oceans, only to discover the greatest journey had happened right next door. That day reminded me that the strongest anchors in life are not made of steel or dropped into the sea. They are built from compassion, faith, and ordinary people who quietly choose to love their neighbors when no one else is watching.